There's new USDA funding on the way for some ranchers across the country. Plus, we're going to tell you what was in the new WASDE in June. All that and a lot more on today's episode of the Arkansas AgCast, which starts right now.
You're listening to the Arkansas AgCast, where we discuss the latest news, trends, and issues impacting Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Our show is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation and hosted by Jason Brown and John Nickman.
I like your shirt.
Oh, man, thank you.
Looks good.
Yeah, you kind of like these kind of shirts?
Yeah,
You seem like a guy that likes this kind of shirt.
Oh, somebody said maybe we should have a little counter in the bottom of the screen.
Oh, yeah.
How many times we've worn a similar shirt.
Yeah, if you're not watching or listening,
day.
we're wearing the same red and white striped shirt today.
Yeah, and I think on camera, I bet Brian's shirt looks a
Probably.
similar color to ours, just not stripy.
Correct.
I said stripy because I'm a
Striping.
kid.
It's a new word.
It's not red. Mine's a little more orangey. So.
Yeah, you got a little
Peach.
orangey. He's got a little
Peach.
peachy.
Yeah.
I got a little pinky. Yeah, we got it going on.
Yeah, we have
We're all
full,
within the
full
same
spectrum
family
here.
Yeah. Anyway,
Either way, we're matchy-matchy.
That's
Yeah,
it.
We're a team here, I guess. even in our outfits, wardrobes.
I don't know. Sometimes you seem anti-team.
Do I?
Yeah.
I enjoy working with a team. I don't know where you get that from.
Well, I know.
Now, if somebody's got to take the glory,
Yeah.
You're usually
y'all
Up
make
there
me
at
be
the
on
front of the
camera
line.
quite a bit. And if I'm going to have to do it, then yeah, I'll do my part.
1 minute in, throwing shade.
That's it. That's it. It doesn't take you.
You told me I wasn't a team player. I'm going to defend myself.
Before you
naturally.
ever even started talking, he was like,
Man.
"Oh, really? Excuse me for breathing." That's
Yeah.
what he was saying while our nice young lady was doing the intro.
Hey, I'm just not going to take anything from anybody, especially you two.
You're just in a bad mood.
Why
You're
are you
just-
lumping me into this?
I know.
I didn't say anything to you.
Guilty by association.
Yeah.
It's apparently.
Yeah.
He's
So
cranky. He's cranky.
I'm not
you just
cranky. I've
wait
had a
till
really good day
trivia
today.
later. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
What? Trivia? Yeah.
I know you're
We
cranky.
talked about that last night.
You're cranky because of the game last night.
Yeah, I did not sleep very well last night at all. And I've had some really good nights of sleep the last few weeks. And
I would.
last
yeah.
night was bad. And the only reason I can think of is what happened on national television last night. For like the third time in the last 5 or 6 years, for Arkansas baseball showing a clinic on how to lose.
Lose a game.
Yeah, at the highest level.
If there's anything that takes the sting off of it, I got no dog in the hunt. But if there's anything to take the sting off of it, is it the fact that you guys would have had to win twice, beat them 2 times, right? If I understood.
Trying to
correctly.
console myself, I keep telling myself LSU's a really good baseball team.
Sure they are.
Regardless of the outcomes, hindsight's 2020. But I've always thought that they were a really good baseball team. And then, like going into the World Series, I was like, "Oh, we're paired with them.
Yeah.
Write us off.
Yeah.
They're that good."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But what I really kind of trying to calm myself down with, we probably weren't going to win tonight. If we won last night, we were
tough
to play them
to do
again
that
today.
twice.
The likelihood of us beating them again was very low. I mean, after last night, we're 0-5 against them in the World Series. So, and hands down, they're a better team. They've got better players. No offense to our players, but they just had that extra that little extra step or a little more fuel left in the tank.
That's
Well,
a got your number kind of
Yeah,
deal.
absolutely. But at the same time, lose it the way you did and the fashion you have been losing those games are very similar over the last several years. Is just that's a tough pill to swallow.
well, in a very Spinal Tap sort of way.
Yeah,
They were one better, weren't they?
yeah, like yeah.
Well, it'll make I think so. It'll be Coastal and LSU now,
Yeah,
and that's it. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that'll be for a fun matchup. Maybe
it'll either be really close or Coastal Carolina is in for a long 2 games.
Well, let me tell you, So early on, I told you I have never watched College World Series or any of the regionals or whatever until this year. Early on, I said, listen, Coastal is a conference mate to my Arkansas State Red Wolves.
Yep.
Don't care.
Yeah.
Cannot root for them.
Really?
A lot of people are like, well, hey, there's somebody from our conference in there.
I'm the same
They're
way.
that unlikable from my perspective. That's my opinion.
Well, everybody kind of says the same thing about the SEC. Is like, well, it's SEC team. Like, if it's, say, Alabama's in the national championship playing Ohio State. I don't like Ohio State either, but like,
Sure.
well, you're rooting for the SEC. No, I'm not. No.
Yeah.
No. I hope both of them lose somehow.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like,
Yeah,
Arkansas is
you're
not there.
You don't fall into that camp of.
I do not care.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
makes sense.
So there's my 2 cents.
It
You didn't ask for it, but you
has been. Well, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed getting into it. Probably won't be my last year because it's been fun to watch. And
I do feel
keep up
really,
with.
really good physically and mentally because I don't have to worry about it tonight. Like,
Are you gonna watch?
No.
Oh, they don't play tonight. They won't play until Saturday.
LSU, and the, Coastal Carolina plays Saturday. But no, I will not watch Saturday. I will not watch
Oh,
Sunday.
really? You're done.
I'm done.
You're okay. Okay. All right.
Nope. I got better things to do with my time.
Speaking of, what are you gonna do this weekend? It's sun's supposed to be out all weekend for the first time since I can remember.
I think Mary Louise has some sort of like baby shower this weekend, so it'll be me and Anthony.
Okay.
We may go swimming or go to the park, or I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be hot.
Yeah.
But it will be nice.
What happens if he wants to watch baseball?
We'll be watching baseball, but if it hurt me worse if he did want to watch baseball because he hadn't wanted to watch the Razorbacks play.
Oh,
So
I
if he was
see.
like, all right, yeah, I want to watch
double
it.
whammy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
You remember football season?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The nap.
Exactly.
Yeah. Trying to think. Yeah, he's been asleep. So that thing didn't come true during baseball because he was asleep during the UCLA game.
Okay.
We won that game.
All right. Well.
But we did try to lose it there at the end too. We just somehow didn't.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry for laughing in your ears.
It's worth laughing at. Like
Listen,
it's just like it's
well,
not good.
that's all right. Gosh, I don't know what else is really going on this week or what has been going on.
What are you
Fun
doing
stuff.
this weekend?
I walked into Mr. Pistol's office yesterday and I said, it's not going to rain.
So you said
This
you're working
weekend.
Saturday?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I said, if it's okay with you, I'd like to not be here on Friday.
You gonna pull the RV out or the camper?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Go try and get in the lake somewhere for the weekend. So
You gonna do some fishing?
I'm gonna fish tomorrow.
Yeah.
Fly rods out, see what we can catch, and then
Fancy fisherman.
And then, well, when in Rome, if I'm gonna be up there by the Little Red,
Oh yeah.
might as well see if we can't catch something.
Yeah.
And then maybe hit the lake Saturday.
You'll be right there.
Yep. So that's what we got going on.
Did y'all paint y'all's house yet?
We are painting.
Painting.
This weather has really put the kibosh on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's we're making little headways around the house.
It hasn't been easy to get things like
It's-
painting a house.
And I don't know if you've stepped out since it's rained a little today.
I have not been outside.
It
A
is
little humidative.
thick, thick, hot. The guys in the field today,
Props to you.
Yeah.
props to you. I feel for you.
Yeah.
it is hot.
Yeah, I bet it's bad.
Drink plenty of water.
Yes, the rain has come and in the heat behind it. So,
Yeah. I got to tell you, though, I saw some photos from Mississippi County this morning. Towns flooded, fields are flooded. I mean, and I know it's not just Mississippi County. But,
Yeah.
we also had that tornado go through Benton County. Was it last night? 2 nights ago? In the Heifel
Oh wow.
area. Yeah.
I missed that.
I text our buddy Wes Evans, checked in with him. I mean, there's just been some wild weather going around with all the rain and severe storms and things like that. So it was my tornado warning went off one day last week. I was at my desk. I'm like, what is going on? Surely this is a mistake. And no, it was a little EF0 that went through just between the Air Force Base and Cabot.
Huh.
But it was still in Pulaski County, and so
Still can do damage.
yeah. So anyway, weather has been definitely something crazy, but maybe we're in a pattern of settling down now. Who knows?
Hopeful.
But
I know I have not had to turn my sprinklers on yet.
I neither. I
Thankful
did.
for that.
Did see a neighbor the other day watering their yard.
Really?
It just stopped raining.
Yeah.
And I almost
Buddy.
wanted to be that neighborhood dad that stopped. Like, hey, this is
Yeah.
what you need to do. I just kept on walking.
Even my plants on the deck and stuff, like
Yeah.
they're just kind of doing their own thing right now.
We trimmed a good chunk off the top of our boxwood bushes, and I was really scared that they weren't going to come back.
Uh-huh.
But all this rain, you wouldn't even know that we cut
Flush.
them down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's good.
If you're into boxwood bushes.
Any kind of shrubbery. Maybe you should start an offshoot of this podcast.
Oh boy.
Gardening with
Let's
John.
talk shrubbery.
Yeah. Shrubbery. My goodness, you're full of it today.
Monty Python.
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
He's thinking of all the Monty
Yeah.
Python jokes now.
O&L coming up before we know it, about a month away. What's
Yeah.
today? The 19th.
Mhm.
So, July 17th and 18th in Rogers. Looking forward to that.
Rogers Convention Center.
Yep. There will be events on Thursday and Friday. Our keynote speaker is Carrie Portell. More about her in the coming days on social media. We will have a number of workshops on a variety of topics that I promise you will be interesting.
Yeah.
You can see all that on the event registration website. Summer commodity division meetings. Several of the commodity divisions happening there. All kinds of good stuff happening in Rogers. An AgPack event for those who give and are part of that that organization too.
Yeah, I think aquaculture, specialty crops, they may be, and beef won't be there.
Mm-hmm.
There might be another one, but I don't know. I think beef is in the next 2 weeks.
It
Not
is.
this weekend,
It's
but the
next weekend. Yeah.
And then specialty crops will be July 10th. I'm not real sure when aquaculture is. I'll have to look into that.
I don't know. I haven't seen an agenda for dairy.
Dairy usually meets in person.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're going to be at O&L.
Yeah. So there you go. So if you are on one of the commodity division groups, or if you're in one of those groups, make sure and check in with your economist or contact here to make sure you know when that meeting's taking place, because it is the kickoff of policy development season.
Yeah. And your voice matters.
And getting in there and representing your thoughts. I've sat in on a couple of board committee meetings this week, and there's some issues coming up already, which are good. Environmental issues was held this week, as was H2A,
Labor.
and labor.
We got trade coming up next week.
Yep. So
yeah, a lot going on.
get involved. And then lastly, before we get into it, how to win an election. This is a 2-day seminar that we host here in conjunction with American Farm Bureau. This year's event will be August 26th and 27th, so a little bit more than 2 months away there. Registration's open until August 20th. Listen, if you're a candidate, if you're thinking about running for anything from, state senate or governor to city council or school board, this event is for you. You can bring along your your campaign manager, your spouse. Again, if you're a candidate, if you're just thinking about being a candidate, hey, one day I might want to run, you can come and participate in this seminar, and it's really helpful. So anyway, if you are interested in that, you can call young Will Hopkins here at Farm Bureau Federation, and he can get you hooked up. There's probably some information about this on our social media channels as well. And there will be in the feed tomorrow. If you receive the feed from us, there will be information and a registration link in there also. So lots of ways to find out information about how to win an election. Well, we do have crop condition and progress to go over. Do you have anything before we move on?
No, not that I can think of.
All right. Well, I'll tell you this: the long and short of it here is we're still planting.
Yeah.
Which is you will hear as we go through this. It's pretty rare for most cases here, but it is what it is this year. So
more than halfway through June.
Yeah. So corn is the only thing that's officially 100% planted according to USDA, and this all comes from the report this past Monday. The condition on the corn crop is actually it's 63% good to excellent. That's down 8% over the last 2 weeks. So we're seeing some quality issues in corn for sure. Fair to poor, 36% of the crop is rated fair to poor. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that over the next week or two. On rice, 97% of the crop is planted. Last week we were at 95%. This time last year, 100%. 5-year average is 98%. Should expect to see that wrapped up officially and on paper any day now, or at least within the next report or two on Mondays. 1% of the rice crop is headed. 65% of that crop is rated good to excellent, with 35% being rated fair to poor, so mimicking corn there pretty closely. On soybeans, we've planted 93% of that crop. Last week, we were at 89%, so about a 4% increase there. Last year, though, this time we were at 96%. The five-year average is 93%, so we're hanging right in there with the 5-year.
Surprisingly not bad.
Yeah, not bad, honestly. We are at 86% of the crop emerged right now. And then as far as quality goes, 56% of the crop is rated good to excellent. That's also down from last week. And then 42% of the crop is fair to poor. It's a small uptick in that fair to poor category for the second consecutive week. Likely they're taking the numbers from the good to excellent category there. Cotton, 97% of the cotton crop has been planted. Last week we were at 93%. Last year this time we were at 99%, but the 5-year average for this week is 100% of the crop to be planted. So we are a little bit behind there. 8% of the crop is setting bolls, and 67% of the crop is rated good to excellent, with 33% of the crop being fair to poor. Small uptick in that fair to poor category, just like the other commodities we mentioned. Peanuts, 95% have been planted. You'll see we are behind here. Last week we were at 86%. This time last year we were at 98%. The 5-year average on peanuts in Arkansas is 99% done by this time of the year. 84% of the crop has emerged. That's nearly a 20% jump over last week. So we're starting to see that peanut crop maybe take off a little bit. Now, again, I'm telling you, good to excellent, 63% of the crop, fair to poor, 34% of the crop. So this is, you're looking at cotton, peanuts,
consistent.
Soybeans, corn, and rice are all pretty consistent in that 60, 40, 70, 30 range. 70, 30 is probably a little generous, but range. Sweet potato, 72% of the crop was planted this week. Last week it was 68%. We don't have historic numbers there. But again, quality issues, the headline with sweet potatoes with only 10% of the crop being rated good to excellent, the rest, the other 90% being rated fair to poor.
That's tough.
And then, hey, something you got to talk about this week on KRK and Fox 16 News.
Yep.
53% of the first hay cutting is complete. Last week that was 44%. Last year, John, 80% this week last year.
So what was it? When I talked to them the week before, we were looking it up, we were 60% behind, right? Wow.
Yeah. And the 5-year average is 77%. So we were a little ahead last year, but 5-year average is 77% done right now. We're at 53%. So we're almost 25% behind the 5-year average on hay cutting.
That third cut that everybody's looking for might be a little tough to get to this year.
And what comes with being this late in harvest?
and not having it in the fall, and quality issues.
Yeah, quality,
nutrient quality. There's all sorts of things that kind of start to domino effect.
Yep. So let's look at that as we wrap up here. The condition, 47% of the hay crop in good to excellent condition.
Yeah.
50% fair to poor. So you can see that only about half of what's there right now is good to excellent. So be interesting to see if we start to dry out, what the weather can help us recoup as far as quality and things.
I can't remember who they interviewed as a farmer for that video, but weren't they saying they were like, at this point, normally they're at like several hundred bales harvested, and they were at like 50 or 60 at the moment or something. Yeah,
it was some kind of, trying to think of what the exact number was, but I think they had 77 bales. It was Mindy Lockhart. But I think they said they had 77 bales done, and usually they're over 1,500 or 2,000 or something like that. And they're down in Hope, southern part of the state that has certainly seen its fair share of rain. So
that's true.
Anyway, that hay issue is going to be a story as we continue reporting throughout the year.
It will. And I heard something the other day is that like some of the stuff they hadn't got into to be able to cut has now fallen over and is starting to, whether it be dying or I don't know what the terminology is, but the new stuff is starting to come up too at the same time.
Yeah.
And that can really slow down the cutting of that hay. Now, if there's anybody out there, I'm sure there's somebody out there that knows more about cutting hay than me.
Teach us, yeah.
Yeah, but I thought that was, because it can really slow down whether, the baler, stuff like that getting caught in it. So,
yeah.
Again, a domino effect.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll keep an eye on that. But that's planting progress and crop quality. Maybe the last week we do planting progress and maybe focus our attention on crop quality a little bit. So anyway, there we go.
Well, let's go ahead and get in the news. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Okay. Today we've got an important update for livestock producers. Kind of goes hand in hand with our hay deal right now, especially those affected by drought and wildfires over the past couple of years. The USDA's Farm Service Agency has officially announced new relief through the Emergency Livestock Relief Program, or ELRP, for 2023 and 2024. This program is meant to help ranchers who faced extra costs because of limited grazing and forage. So here's what you need to know in detail about this program. If you received payments to the Livestock Forage Disaster Program, or LFP, for 2023 or 2024, you will automatically get an ELRP payment. So there's no new application is needed to get this payment.
Oh, okay.
The USDA will use your existing LFP records to process this assistance. However, if you did not apply for LFP or didn't qualify for the program, you won't receive an ELRP payment. There is no new sign-up period for this assistance. The ELRP payment is based on what you received from LFP. You'll get 35% of your LFP payment as part of this program. For example, if you got $10,000 from LFP, you'll now receive an additional $3,500 through ELRP. A lot of acronyms, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there are.
There are also payment limits. So $125,000 per year is the standard limit, but if 75% or more of your income comes from farming or ranching, you could qualify for a higher limit of $250,000 if you filed from FSA 510, which I'm assuming is an FSA form. The USDA says payments will start going out after they finish reviewing LFP records. Based on past programs, you might see these payments in the next month or two. A second round of payments could happen later if funds remain, but nothing official yet. If you received an LFP payment, make sure these two things. Your forms are current at the FSA office, especially your LFP application, farm operating plan, wetland certification, and if needed, your income forms for the higher payment limit. Also, make sure your contact information is up to date so you don't miss any communication or payments. If you didn't qualify for LFP, this ELRP payment won't apply, like we said earlier, but USDA has set aside funding for other disaster losses like flood impacts. So more details on that are expected later on. We'll be sure to keep you up to date on that. But if you have any questions specifically to this program or this assistance, or any of the forms that you filled out in the past, and to check up and to make sure all of it's current, contact your local FSA office. They'll have all the answers you need, and they'll be able to direct you in the right direction.
All right, sounds good. Well, today I think we're going to break down the June WASDE report with analysis from Southern Ag Today, something we usually try and cover here. This month's report delivered significant news for Arkansas producers, particularly in rice and cotton. Both crops saw substantial production costs tied to wet spring weather across the Delta. For long grain rice, the USDA lowered its U.S. production estimate by 4.9 million hundredweight, bringing the total down to just over 214 million. The reduction reflects planting delays in saturated fields, especially in Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Exports were increased slightly while domestic use was trimmed back a bit. The result, though, lower projected ending stocks, now estimated at nearly 47 million hundredweight. On the cotton side, production was cut by about 500,000 bales, dropping the forecast to 14 million bales for the 25-26 marketing year. That's driven by both reduced acreage and lower yield expectations in the Delta. USDA also reduced beginning stocks by 400,000 bales and lowered projected ending stocks to just over 4 million bales, a sharp decline from last month. The average projected price remains at 62 cents per pound. Now, despite these domestic supply cuts, global rice and cotton stocks are expected to increase, largely due to stronger production in India, which could dampen potential price gains. You can read the full breakdown at southernagtoday.org. I know there's some of this information in the commodity division newsletters you guys are sending out this week. So there's analysis there too, but not much change in soybeans, but some change in rice and cotton.
Yeah, there were some higher global stocks, I think in soybeans, but and then the average price soybeans was like $10.25 or something. The projection for it. It was very similar to last month. So no new news.
No new news here.
There for soybeans.
All right. Well, let's step away from the news to hear about how you can help cultivate safe roads in Arkansas.
Arkansas farmers and ranchers work 7 days a week. That means when you hit the road, you may be sharing it with farm equipment, especially if you're traveling along rural roads and county highways. Farm equipment moves slower than our pickup trucks and minivans. They may not have the safety lights and turn signals of our family vehicles either. The trucks and tractors moving down the road need extra room to make turns, cross bridges, and move through intersections too. We all get in a hurry sometimes, but it's important that we all stay safe, no matter if we're headed to buy groceries or grow them. So next time you're cruising past a pasture or field, keep an eye out for farmers. They'll be sure to keep an eye out for you too. If we all work together, we can make sure Arkansas is cultivating safe roads.
All right, continuing my livestock theme here, I wanted to give an update on an important step the USDA is taking to protect U.S. livestock producers from a pest that could cause serious problems if left unchecked. And that pest would be the New World Screwworm Fly, or NWS. If you've been in ranching for a while, you might remember this pest. It causes severe injuries to livestock, wildlife, and even pets. And this is kind of a tough picture, but laying its eggs in open wounds. It hasn't been seen in the U.S. for decades, but recent detections in Mexico, much closer to our border than usual, have raised concerns. In response, USDA Secretary USDA Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins just announced a new $8.5 million sterile fly dispersal facility being built at the Moore Air Base in South Texas. This facility is part of a broader USDA strategy to stop this pest before it can spread into the U.S. The USDA's 5-part plan is as follows. Number 1, helping Mexico stop the pest before it reaches the U.S. border. So they're funding sterile fly production in Mexico to help slow the spread further south. These sterile flies don't reproduce. They help reduce the pest population over time. Secondly, strengthening the U.S.-Mexico border. More surveillance, better trapping, and clear communication along the border will create a warning system. USDA is also working with local tick riders and customs officers to watch for stray or illegally imported animals that could carry the pest. Continuing down here, number 3, making sure the U.S. is ready. State and local agencies are updating emergency plans, training, and making sure treatment supplies are ready just in case the pest gets closer. Number 4, there's 2 more. Building a new fly dispersal facility in Texas, which I just mentioned. The new facility at Moore Air Base will be able to release sterile flies in northern Mexico as an added line of defense. There are also plans for future expansion to produce more sterile flies here in the U.S. And then lastly, number 5, investing in research. The USDA is also working on better traps, treatments, and new technologies, even considering genetically modified flies to improve control of the pest. They're partnering with universities and local agencies in Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico to help with this effort. So if this pest makes it across the border, the impact on cattle and wildlife could be very serious. Higher vet costs, lower productivity, and potential market disruptions could possibly be seen. USDA says these steps are meant to keep the U.S. free of the new pest, protect the food supply, and avoid damage to the livestock industry. Texas officials and agricultural groups, including the Texas Farm Bureau and National Cattlemen's Beef Association, are supporting this move, saying that prevention now is key to avoiding a much bigger problem down the road. Construction on the new dispersal facility is already underway and expected to be finished in 2025 of this year actually. USDA will also hold public listening sessions to get input from ranchers, industry groups, and researchers on new ways to fight the screwworm. For now, ranchers are encouraged to stay informed, especially in border states like Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico, where USDA's surveillance and early detection efforts will be most active. If you've got livestock near the border, make sure your vet is keeping an eye out for any unusual wounds that don't heal well and report anything suspicious to animal health authorities. So it's great to see that the USDA is acting early, but before this pest becomes a real problem here, whether it be in Texas or if it spreads here in the state of Arkansas. Well, as always, we'll keep you up to date to see what happens here and how the project, the Moore Air Force Base moves. But if you want to see more information on that, I found this here at USDA's press release website. So just go to USDA.gov. I also read that a staggering number they project to produce these flies is 100 million a week out of that facility. I thought that was crazy. I don't even know what 100 million flies would even look like.
I don't either. But the way it works, it's like it has to be that high volume.
Yeah.
So I was telling you before we came on, we had the conversation about this facility on our staff tour to Lee County a few weeks ago. There was a few of us talking about it. Jake Cartwright has a fascinating, he can explain to you in really simple terms on how these sterile flies basically can alleviate that population. It's pretty fascinating. But,
I think it was in the 1960s the last time they had to do this.
Yep.
So I guess they're just re-implementing the same strategy.
Yep, that's it. So, so anyway, hopefully, especially with cattle inventory numbers the way they are and things like that, we don't need
another hit.
Any more damage. All right, well, let's take a closer look at the ongoing differences in ag provisions between the House and Senate in the budget reconciliation bills. It's something we've talked about a couple times, but I thought we'd sort of call out some of the actual differences that we're seeing, especially since Philip Brasher with AgriPulse took the time to break a bunch of this out. Again, he's outlining the differences in the proposals that are currently moving through Congress. Looking at the big picture, both the House and the Senate want to strengthen commodity programs and crop insurance. And there's really no surprise there. I mean, this is something that we've been talking about since before the 2018 Farm Bill was set to expire in 2023.
Yeah.
That said, they're taking very different paths on when it comes to funding conservation and especially nutrition programs. So we'll look at SNAP first, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. The House version would cut roughly $30 billion over 10 years from the program. It calls for stricter work requirements and would have states pick up more of the program's cost. The Senate's plan has much more modest changes. It protects current eligibility and limits new state responsibilities. On the commodity side, both bills include an update to reference prices, which is welcome news for farmers, For example, the House plan would raise the corn reference price to about $4.10 and soybeans to around $10. There's also a one-time opportunity to update base acres, a key issue for farmers whose current acreage no longer reflects what they're growing.
Yeah.
The corn price, at least the corn price in the Senate version is lower. So
Okay.
waiting to see where that lands, but it's under $4. Here's where it starts to get a little bit tricky. Conservation funding and the Commodity Credit Corporation, or CCC. The House bill would repurpose Inflation Reduction Act funds earmarked for climate smart practices and give USDA less flexibility to use the CCC for emergency spending. What does this mean for Arkansas? Well, if you're growing rice, soybeans, or cotton, or even raising poultry, changes to reference prices and insurance are probably worth watching, and our folks can certainly help you understand that. But if you're involved in conservation programs, the debate over how and where those dollars go could shape a lot of what comes next, and that's a lot of what's being talked about right now. Let's talk about costs. The CBO, Congressional Budget Office, conducted a dynamic analysis of the House-passed One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which obviously you talked about a couple weeks ago, and found that it would increase budget deficits by $2.8 billion from 2025 through 2034, even after accounting for the economic growth that it would create. The CBO says the bill would increase interest rates on the federal debt by $441 billion and cut revenues by more than $3.5 trillion, while only cutting spending by $774 billion. We don't have a final version from the Senate, so no cost to assign to their version at this time. Those numbers all really apply to the version that has already been passed out of the House. Again, credit to Philip Brasher at AgriPulse for the reporting behind today's story. We'll continue following the progress of this and what it means for producers here in Arkansas. We had a media interview with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette on this topic yesterday. Heath Donner, faithful AgCast listener, was part of that interview. Look for that story in the Demgaz over the weekend.
Yeah.
A lot of moving parts here. There's an issue where the Senate parliamentarians having to get involved in the process, and I'll just say it in summary, in Jason Brown's words, this reconciliation business is sort of out of the box.
Chaotic.
It's creative. It's different. It's a way they're trying to address some of these risk management pieces now in the absence of a real farm bill.
Yeah.
And that is sort of requiring some creative legislation, and that's the reconciliation process. So I think there's going to be sounds like there may be some checks and balances along the way. We'll see how that turns out. What we do know, and what you guys put in your commodity division, the goal is to have this done by the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So the clock is certainly ticking. As we report, it's June 19th.
Yeah, and I don't know. What looking over it the way I have, and especially with this kind of last part you were talking about, it seems as if to me they're cutting areas to add to others. Is that kind of what you?
That's what the numbers look like to me.
That's kind of my big takeaway from it.
Yeah.
So, and then there's been some gripes. I've seen a lot of this where it's going to increase spending or it's going to increase our debt, stuff like that. So, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of comments other than we just got to wait and see how it falls.
Yeah, it has a major opportunity to impact farmers.
And these reference prices, man, that would be huge.
Yeah, I think that's really what most farmers that I've talked to about this issue have got their fingers crossed about. Some of those, again, the risk management pieces. There's some ARC and PLC business in here too.
They're probably going to benefit from it this year if it passes.
Yeah. So, I think that's the news. I feel out of breath. There's a lot.
Well, save just a little because it is time to play.
Stump the host.
Did you see me?
I did see that.
You didn't know if it was me or him, did you?
You.
That would be that would be the coolest if we got to do that.
Yeah, actually doing it.
Huh?
But you lip synced it there.
Yeah. I mean, actually doing it. I was pretending.
Yeah.
Listen, you mind your own business.
Everybody has to have an imagination, and I think it's cool that you have your own.
Since I was a kid, I've wanted to do, like, did
Synthesizers?
y'all, am I too old, or did y'all have McGruff?
We had McGruff.
Did the counselor
Scuff
bring
McGruff?
in? Yeah. Did the counselor bring him in to talk to you guys and stuff like that?
McGruff was around when I was around.
Yeah.
so,
See.
yeah.
So since then, I have wanted to operate McGruff, the puppet.
Have you?
And I'm now 43. I have a picture from D.C. One of my trips to D.C.
Yeah.
McGruff was on the steps of the Capitol,
Did y'all have this little
and I got my picture taken with him. It's hanging up in my office.
this little cop car?
Yeah,
Did you remember
yeah,
that?
they
What was
bring
that
that
called?
sometimes. Yeah,
What was that called?
I don't know. It was like robotic. It was a character.
Looking back on it now, it's kind of creepy.
No, that was
The
that
big
was
old
pretty
eyes, and it moved around and talked to you.
My point is that I've always wanted to operate McGruff. It's a similar situation.
Yeah.
I want to do that voice so bad.
Let's see.
You got that on the soundboard for him?
I do not.
No, he's not going to give
but
that to me. He's not going to do that. There's no way. That belongs to one
Well,
man.
we'll see what we can do. So
All right. Anyway, sorry.
we have a full board today.
Yes, we do.
Oh, exciting!
And arts, science, entertainment, history, general, geography.
I'll throw Jason one and say entertainment.
Okay. Take the A Train was the signature tune of whose band?
Oh my gosh.
I'm guessing this was probably from like the 70s.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Motown.
The Jackson 5.
Commodores.
Duke Ellington.
Duke Ellington.
Ah, so close.
All right.
Yeah, you're so very close.
So we're right there,
close.
right
So
there.
close.
Samsonite. It was right there the whole time.
Swanee. Smith.
Okay.
All right, I'm going general
General.
because if
Okay.
that was hard.
What is the claim to fame of Beacon Hills Bull and Finch Pub?
It literally sounded like you were speaking Spanish to me right
Yeah.
there.
That sounded like a run-on sentence.
Yeah, it did. Say it one more time. Claim to fame.
What is the claim to fame of Beacon Hills Bull and Finch Pub?
Buffalo wings.
No.
Yeah. Sweet tea.
Irish car bombs.
Oh boy, you guys are way off.
Fish and chips.
No.
Well, stop guessing. Let him tell us so we can put us out of
Shepherd's pie.
Its exterior was used for the bars and Cheers.
Oh.
For the bar and Cheers. It was they shot the
that's
exterior.
cool. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
It was
Huh.
Is that
was
the
Cheers.
second time Cheers has come up in like this month on this show?
I don't know.
oh, it
I
could
felt,
be.
felt
So,
like I was a Cheers fan, but not now.
all right, 0 for 2. So what do you
we
think?
wouldn't do good at trivia.
Yeah.
Well, we don't do good at our own trivia, so. What categories left?
Arts, science, history, geography.
History, I guess.
History.
Go.
Watch this be
Let's
totally doable.
see if we can go 0 for 3 here.
All right. Which country offered Einstein the presidency?
Do you know?
No.
It wasn't Germany. They had somewhat of a dictator back then.
True.
Austria as well. I don't.
Switzerland.
No.
Poland. Is it Sweden?
No. Neither one.
Okay.
Israel.
Ah.
Well,
0 for 3. So
swing and a miss.
Yeah,
Swing and a miss. There you go.
Tough one.
We struck out.
If you got one of those, even one of those, and you're listening at home, tell us.
You
So,
you
Please
deserve
in the
a
comments.
water bottle and a
We want
coffee
to
mug.
hook you up with something.
So for
That's
the
the
record,
toughest week
I
so far.
officially
Stump the host.
Yes, you did.
It did.
Now he's rubbing it in.
Yeah, he will. Can't wait till next week.
Well, gents, I hope y'all have a good weekend.
Man, that was terrible.
Yeah,
That's
it
gonna
was
stick
rough.
with me for a while.
That's the roughest one we've had in a long time.
he couldn't even reply.
Yeah, he could. He's just like beating himself up.
Hey, the Razorbacks and then stump the host. Man, it's tough. Bad week.
Look at us. Look at us go. All right. Well, listen, that wraps up the news for this week. Thanks for following along with the Arkansas AgCast. We're grateful for you taking the time to watch and listen.
Yes, we are. Remember, you can catch new episodes of the show every Thursday afternoon. Find video episodes on Facebook and YouTube. And listen to the audio version wherever you listen to podcasts.
Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review when you have a few extra minutes. The Arkansas AgCast is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau. I'm Jason Brown.
And I'm John McMahon.
And we'll see you next week.